Do you find yourself predicting that things will go wrong before you've even started? Do you anticipate all the ways that things are going to suck and not turn out and be giant dumpster fires before you even get going? If this is you, if you can relate, then it is your lucky day because I am sharing a super simple tip that will help you nip this anxiety in the bud. And I will totally be honest, I use this tip every single day in my own life. It's so good, and I want you to hear it. Stick around. Hey there, welcome back. In case you are new here and you don't know me, my name is Dr. Allison and I'm a licensed clinical psychologist. And if you're a regular, then you know I have pretty much made it my life mission, seriously, to simplify psychology, to break down the science and what I know as a psychologist to help you live a healthier and more meaningful life. Now, can you relate to that intro, right? Can you relate to predicting that things will go terribly before they even start? Does your brain, does your anxiety predict all the ways that things will go wrong before you've even taken a single step? If this is you, please know that you are not alone. Lots of humans do this, and I will totally self-disclose that my brain loves to do this. I know, I'm a psychologist, and yes, my brain does this naturally. It predicts all the awful ways and the things that could go wrong before I've even started. And in fact, that happened today when we were shooting this video. My husband is the techie photographer, editor, person behind all my videos, and he got some new equipment, which hopefully you can tell. How's the lighting? Does it look great? And so before we started, right, as we were setting up, I could feel myself. My brain was already saying like, oh my God, this is going to be a nightmare. It's not going to work. It's going to take forever. It's going to fall apart. It's going to be so frustrating, right? So annoying, but my brain was already predicting all the ways that things would go wrong as we were filming. And I want to start by saying it's totally normal to think about how things will play out. It's normal to imagine what will happen in the future. So if you're going to have a difficult conversation with your boss and you think through all the ways that they might respond or what they might say back, that's normal. That helps you be prepared. If you are going to try a new thing, right? You're going to do something you've never done before. You're a little bit anxious about it and you sort of imagine all the ways that it could go or how you might do. That makes sense. You're trying something new and scary. And so thinking through all the options is totally normal and often actually very healthy. The problem is that often when you do this, you're not imagining all the ways that things could play out. You are looking at just the way that things could go wrong, go poorly, be bad, be failures, be flops, right? I could keep going. But your brain is only seeing those things, the ways that things could be awful, but your brain is ignoring all the other possibilities for how things could go well, how things could be positive, how they could play out successfully. And this gives your brain really a skewed reality, right? It's not giving your brain, it's not giving you the full picture of what's going on. It's a skewed picture of what's happening, which that is a recipe, hear me, that is a recipe for anxiety. So when you find yourself predicting that things will go wrong, when you find yourself anticipating that things will suck, here's what I want you to do. Ready? Drum roll. This is so important. I use it every day. Acknowledge what could go wrong and then acknowledge what could go well. Your brain will do a great job anticipating all the ways that things could go wrong. And you are going to have to work and challenge your brain to then acknowledge all the ways that things could go well, they could work out, or they could be positive. Your brain will only want to see the bad. It's going to imagine the ways that things could go wrong. And here's the thing, I'm not going to ask you to not think of those things. Go ahead, think of what could go wrong because those are possibilities. I'm not going to say ignore them or just think positive. That's stupid and not helpful, right? You can acknowledge the ways that things could go wrong. But then you've got to look at the other possibilities and acknowledge what could go well. How could things be successful? How could you get a win? How could things work out? Your brain won't want to see those things naturally. So you're going to have to get creative. You are going to have to brainstorm and you're going to have to really challenge your brain to imagine those possibilities. Acknowledge what could go wrong. then acknowledge what could go well. So remember how I told you the story about setting up these new lights and this new techie stuff and me anticipating that was going to suck and be a disaster and I was already feeling anxious? So here's what I did. On our drive over, as I was thinking about that, I acknowledged all those things, that it could be stressful, it could be a disaster, all of that. And then I said, Allison, acknowledge what could go wrong, then acknowledge what could go well. It could be smoother than you think. The hiccup could be 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and then you could pick it up. It could actually go really well. It could be difficult for 30 minutes, but then it might teach you something and make your videos even better. So suddenly I go from having one awful outcome to having more possibilities. And here's what that does for your anxiety and mine. It brings it way down. When you look at all the options, not just the worst ones, it brings your anxiety down to a more manageable level. Trying a new hobby or a new activity and you're afraid you're going to look stupid. You're predicting that you're going to get there and you're going to look like an idiot. Okay. Acknowledge what could go wrong, which is you could look like an idiot, and then acknowledge what could go well. Maybe you'll be a natural. Maybe you'll be average. Maybe there'll be other people that are just starting. Maybe people will be super encouraging, or maybe no one will even be looking at you. So when you challenge your brain to see all of the things, all of the potential outcomes, your anxiety goes down. Your brain loves to see worst case scenario. It's a weird protective mechanism that humans have. I've talked about it a lot before. So your brain's just going to do that naturally. It's annoying. Mine does it too, and I wish it didn't, but it does. The amazing and encouraging news is that you are not stuck with the thoughts that you have. You can challenge your brain to think differently. And this phrase, this mantra, acknowledge what could go wrong and then acknowledge what could go well, is a really simple, easy tip to help you do that, to help you teach your brain to see all of the possibilities, not just the awful ones. Now, when you do this the first few times, it's going to be hard. Your brain's going to come up with like one other option. So push yourself, get creative, brainstorm all the possibilities, not just the ways that things could go wrong, and I think you will be amazed at what happens to your anxiety. When you try this, because you're going to, come back, let me know how it went, how it felt, and what happened to your anxiety. I believe in you. You can do it. As always, thank you so much for joining me here today on my channel. I appreciate it. And I mean that. Your time is valuable. So if you want more good stuff like this, more simplified psychology to help you live a healthier and more meaningful life, then there's a couple ways you can get that. First, subscribe to my channel because then you'll be the first to know about new videos. Like this video, that tells me what you want more of. And go check out my website, drallisonanswers.com. There is so much stuff that I share there, a lot about anxiety that I don't share on my channel. So if you haven't checked it out, what are you doing? Go over, check it out. I will see y'all back here for a brand new video pretty soon. Acknowledge what could go wrong, and then acknowledge what could go well. You've got it. All right, bye-bye.